So let's continue the series on the special words, lesson number 2 of the Advanced Tajweed program. So we'll come on to number 5. So number 5 occurs in these two ayat. So we can see that the above al-muqatta'at letters, the al-muqatta'at letters are Yasin and Noon. So these letters can only be read with al-idhar, which means that the last noon cannot be merged into the next vowel. So let's have a look at this. Let's analyze this. So we can see that the last letter of the letter Sin. So Sin is actually Sin, Ya and Noon when you say Sin. So when the last letter is Noon of Sin and there's a Waw, the normal rule will be to do Idgham. Okay? The normal rule will be to do Idgham, and not only that, Idgham with Ghunnah. Okay, idgham bil ghunnah. So, but in Shatibiya, you're only allowed to read this with izhar. So there are some turuq where you're allowed to join this. If you, of course, don't stop at the ayah, you're allowed to join them with idgham. So I'll give you an example of al-izhar and al-idgham, and then you can clearly see the difference. So the first way to read this is A'udhu billahi minash shaytanir rajim. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. Yasin. وَالْقُرْآنِ الْحَكِيمِ. So this is al-idhar. This is the one which is only allowed in Shatibiya. But just to give you a comparison of what idgham will sound like is, it become Yasin وَالْقُرْآنِ الْحَكِيمِ. So this one is not allowed in the tariqah of Shatibiya. So you're only allowed to do al-idhar. So the example of idhar in Noon is just Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Noon وَالْقَلَمِ وَمَا يَسْطُرُونَ. So you're only allowed to read it like this. Very simple and straightforward. Number 6 refers to two particular words. So yabsutu and bastah. These are two words. So this one yabsutu occurs in Surah Al-Baqarah verse 245. And this bastah occurs in Surah Al-A'raf verse 69. So the word in every Quranic copy would be written like this, with ba, sad, ta and tamruta, and ya, ba, sad and ta. But actually there's a sin on top. So the sin on top is what will be written. Read, sorry, what would be read. So instead of reading it bastah and yabsutu, you will read it bastah and yabsutu. Now, there is a difference of opinion. In my chain of recitation, you are allowed to recite this with either sin or sad in Shatibiya as well. But in some books, for example, you can only recite with sin. Okay, so you can only recite with sin according to Shatibiya. Even in my chain of recitation, where you're allowed to recite with sin and sad, sin is preferred. Okay, so the sin is still preferred. So of course we will say that it can only ever be read with sin, even though it is read with sad. So this will be read as yabsutu or bastah, not yabsutu and not bastah. So this is the thing. Now, of course, that means if someone does read with sad, it doesn't mean that they have made a mistake, because in, for example, my chain, you are still allowed to read it with sad according to Shatibiya, but the sin is preferred. Let's look at number 7. So in the word al-musaytirun, in Surah Tur, Surah Tur, the verse 37. This word can be recited with either sad or sin. The choice is yours. Okay, al-musaytirun or al-musaytirun, any is allowed. And we can see that the sin is written underneath. So here the sin is written on top, which means it takes preference, and where it's written underneath, you have the option. The number 8, bimusaytir. This word is only read with sad in Surah Al-Ghashiyah verse 22. Now in some turuq you can read this with sin. Okay, in some turuq you can read bimusaytir. But in Shatibiya you are only allowed to read with sad, and there is no difference between any of the chains when it comes down to this of Shatibiya. So this was only with Sad. So let's just quickly summarize these ones. With Basta and Yabasutu, Sin is preferred or only allowed according to whichever chain of recitation you have. Or you can read Sad, but Sin is preferred. This one, you have the choice and option to read with either Sad or Sin, and that's why it's written at the bottom. And with this one, you can only read with Sad according to Shatibiya. Let's move on. Number 9 is the 4 sakatat. Now the sakatat, we have already taught this in the level 2 introduction to Tajweed course, but just for your recap, we can say that sakatat are one is in Surah Yasin, one is in Al-Kahf, one is in Al-Qiyamah, and the other is in Al-Mutaffifin. So in these 4 surahs, there is a special sector in which you stop but you don't take a breath. You stop but you don't take a breath. Example, Kalla bal rana. Kalla bal rana. So the 4 sakatat are especially in the tariqah of Shatibiya as well. Of course, they're in other turuq. In Shatibiya, you have to do with sakta. Right, so let's have a look at number 10. Number 10, we have the word firq. So this above word occurs in Surah Al-Shu'ara, verse number 63. So we can see that the ra in this word is preceded by kasra, but according to the tariq of Shatibiya, it can be read with either tafkhim or tarqiq. Now it's preceded by kasra, but it's of course followed by al-isti'lalata. So what is the rule? If there is a ra sakina and it's followed by al-isti'lalata, in all cases it will be read with tafkhim. But in this case, you can read it with tarqiq as well. You can read it with tarqiq as well, and especially if you're stopping on it, because the qaf pulls the ra into a heavy state. So we can say firqin or firqin, yeah, firqin or firqin, and this is when you're stopping, firq or firq, okay, firq or firq. So it depends on how you want to stop on this. Now, the number 11 is specifically for the word salasil, okay, salasila or salasila. Now, the above word, which is in Surah Al-Insan, verse 4, has an alif with a safir on it, with a safir. And we already mentioned that the safir means that we do not say this alif. So if stopping on this word, the alif will be read. However, when continuing, it will be dropped. So if we are reading and we stop on this letter, then we will say salasila, salasila, or if we are continuing, we won't say salasila, we would say salasila, salasila. So this safir comes into play when you are continuing, but not when stopping. Now the same applies to these following words, but these are not special to Shatibiya, they're in every single tariqah of Hafs al-Asim. So we can say that Surah Al-Insan, same surah as this one, we have the word qawarira. One occurs at the end of an ayah and the other one is the first word of this next ayah. So when we are stopping on this, of course, the safir, when you're stopping on this, you would read the alif qawarira. But if you're continuing, you'll say qawarira. Yeah. Same thing in Surah Al-Ahzab, you have the 2 words ar-rasula and as-sabila. So we can say when we're continuing, when we're stopping, we say ar-rasula. But if you want to continue, we say ar-rasula and continue. Same thing applies to as-sabila. If we're stopping, we say as-sabila, and if you want to continue, we just say as-sabila. So this is more special words, and inshallah in the next video we'll continue.